It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. David has a day off, so you are stuck with me and Kyler, and of course Rocco back here on the producer board. We also got a big special guest for you today, Dizzy from BitBoy NFT Alpha as well, and the host of Around the Blockchain. So we'll be patching him in here in about 20 minutes. Excited for that. Also, excited. You know why? Because Bitcoin is over $24,000. That's the wrong sound, Rocco. You know what sound it is? 24,000. Bull market. Let's go. Bull market's back, baby. Or at least the bull trap is back. One of the two. Yeah, so really excited. We had some positivity on the charts when it comes to Bitcoin since the FOMC meeting, not only in crypto but also in the overarching markets, the traditional finance, S&P 500, NASDAQ. Those are all having big days today as well. And then today we're going to be talking Meta, they are performing pretty well. Their stock is. They had a lot of profits. So that's one of the leading sectors in the tech finance. And then also we have the Cardano stablecoin Jed has got a ton of value locked up already. This ecosystem, I know people are excited to use it. It looks like it's off to a good start. I want to get into the chat real quick, just to give you guys some love. If you are new here, by the way, say hello, so that way we can drop a whole lot back at you. And also, hit that like button. Let's get this thing going. All right. So we have a $5 super chat right off the rip, and that is from Carpe Diem. He said, new handle is still chilly, so hit the like for missing David. So, new handle.
Like the movie.
All right, so still chilly, huh?
Is that Big Chili Willie?
Is that who I'm assuming it is? Is that you, Big Chili Willie?
Is that you?
Is that you?
And Carpe Diem.
We also got Kyler here.
Coins.
Kyler, why don't you say what's up? Why don't you tell them why you're going to be a better co-host than David, which is actually a very easy job to accomplish.
I wouldn't say I'm going to be a better co-host than David. I'm just filling in while David's being a good father. You know, you got to respect the man. He's out with his son, making sure that he gets things done. He's got a nice, soccer competition going on this weekend. So that's pretty cool. It's really neat seeing him out there, supporting his kid. This is dope. So, message to all you deadbeat dads out there, go be with your kids, man. Don't let things get in the way.
For some reason, I just feel like David is definitely the dad out there. He's
the dad in here too, by the way.
Yeah, well, he's I bet you. So he's at the soccer game. Typically we would expect soccer dad to be out here yelling and trying to fight people, but David is probably being David, just folding like a lawn chair. You know what I mean? And just getting all the other dads are just punking his ass. But anyways, we'll get into some crypto here in a second. I did want to say, have you seen what is going on around the world when it comes to, like the protests? So, it's not only here in the U.S. We've seen the protests in, was it Atlanta? We had the Seattle ones are kind of popping off again. But here is one in... this one is in London. So massive protests break out in London as the UK is rocked by big day strike for higher wages against anti-strike law. Schools are closed, trains at a standstill, and an army has been deployed to replace some strikers. So you can see here just kind of what this looks like. The streets are filled. This is becoming more and more common. This has been more commonplace as of lately. We've seen Paris also kind of erupting in a lot of protests as well. And I think what it really tells you is that the world's upset with the powers that be. I think a lot of it essentially stems from the manipulation of currencies, the funneling of wealth from the middle class workers and to these large institutions through multiple different ways. But the one that's most apparent is inflation and money printing. I think that at its core value is what's driving it. I think that's what's happening here in the U.S. I think that every debate becomes political, and it's left and right. There was a point where Jesse Ventura, was elected as a was it a governor? Or
I think he was governor of Minnesota, right?
Governor, yeah. And he didn't even have a side. He wasn't Republican or Democrat. And so,
wish we get to more of that.
Yeah, but that's gone. Everything's so politicized that you're either strong left or strong right. And I think because a lot of people are looking for answers from Congress and they want to point the finger, but I think what they're missing out on is the fact that it's probably more than likely just wages are staying stagnant, prices are going up, and people are getting priced out of just living a decent life. And so now you got to have roommates and 2 jobs, right?
Yeah, it's not just, well, it's like, dude, the inflation's going up, but cost of living doesn't go up. These institutions of labor unions that we used to have are just diminished. They've lost all power. So, I mean, you saw it with the truckers uniting in Canada. They shut that down. They weren't allowing these groups of people to get together and be able to negotiate like they used to. You even saw it here in the US. So we had the railroad workers went on strike, and rather than give them what they were looking for or even go to the table to be able to negotiate it, Biden came in and just decided what it was going to be and shut it down. I mean, we're seeing Amazon and Starbucks trying to unionize, and people are just trying to be able to negotiate their rights as workers back. But look at in Amsterdam, in Holland, in the Netherlands, you're seeing farmer protests, and they're not really covering it that much anymore because they don't want to give these people the power. They want you to be where you're at. And then the UK, they were doing the energy bills because they were having such a hard time with energy prices that they were going to the streets and they were burning their electrical bills from the electrical companies. I mean, why we need more of this? We need to get the power back. But the thing is that the governing bodies that don't want us to have power. They don't want you to have crypto. They don't want you to be independent from the system. They don't want you to be outside of their purview and control. So it's why we're here, man. This is why Bitcoin was created. This is why cryptocurrencies are trying to create new frameworks of monetary value that we could be independent from those institutionalized, those solidified power organizations. So I don't know, man. I like seeing it. We'll see. We'll see if I think it's just going to get worse and worse because we're not in a good place when it comes to, we might see a global recession. I mean, this is just going to get worse and worse. And we're seeing it in countries that are developed. So what about the countries that aren't developed? I mean, they're just going to get further into chaos. So we'll see. Hopefully they can start rebuilding their own institutions using technology in a way that we haven't seen before. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that things will come through.
All right. So real quick, I'm going to take a peek at where the markets are. Bitcoin is coming in at $24,000, 83 cents, as we kind of alluded to when we first started, and significant movement as of this 24 hours. Obviously, before the Fed rate hike. That's $1,000 movement there. So almost 5% just in the last 24 hours, some healthy growth. If you take a look at the week chart, you can see we've been down as low as 22,000. And that's pretty healthy, man. 22 to 24 essentially is a 10% move, right? I mean, if you were to take the lows here. Taking a look back even further on the 1 month, you can see that you have here at the start of the year, essentially, we're at 16K. That was only a month ago, man. it was only a month ago that we were at $16,000, basically the bottom, right? And you can say, oh, it was 16.4, 16.3, well, whatever. It's 16,000. We were at 16K in January 7th. So less than a month ago. And so this is where we're at now, 24,000.
What do you think this is a result of?
I just think it's exhaustion in the markets. You got to think we traded for a whole year in the red, right? Mm-hmm. And so in December, so if you take a look at the 1 year chart here, in December, let me pull up the all time actually, make a little more sense.
Do you think it's because of adoption? Do you think that more people around the world are using it? Do you think, is it coming from us, the US? Is this a direct? I
think for me, I'm not trying to overanalyze it. I think that at its core value, people see the value of Bitcoin and they know that this is a good entry price. And I think people were just waiting for the market to bottom. You know, if you were looking for you're looking for an entry point, if you had been eyeballing Bitcoin and you see it's at 43,000, right? And it was at 62, you're like, oh, it's at 43,000. I'm gonna wait for it to get cheaper and buy. I'm gonna wait for it to get cheaper and buy. Then it gets down to 28,000, then down to 20,000, and then it goes all the way down to 16,000.
Do you think because it stayed there for so long and people feel like it's close to the bottom? Or
I think people know that it's not going to go much lower. And at this point, you know, there was still uncertainty when it came to FTX, the contagion, all the stain that crypto had brought. And I think that, you know, we traded at 16,000 for, you know, quite some time here, you know, from November all the way till January. And so, you know, I think that people just realize like, hey, I have money on the side. I want to get in. I feel like the worst times are behind us. And at the end of the day, it could be, you know, this could be a bear trap. This could be, you know, a psych out. But even if we retrace, I still don't think we're going to push lower than 16K. And even if we do, it won't be too far off. What, 14,000 at worst?
Black swan, anything could happen at any point.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen, of course. But I'm just saying that, like, Bitcoin's not going to go to 8,000. Bitcoin's not going to go to 4,000, not to 5,000. It is in the realm of possibility, but in terms of likelihood,
I think there's still so much. I mean, I'm not a super sleuth, but there's so much Bitcoin that's locked up in limbo right now. Just in general, if you think about all the people that were early in Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin, I mean, Mt. Gox, all those Bitcoin are still in limbo. They haven't gotten to the people. They haven't been released. I mean, we're talking about.
But the thing is you can look back on the Bitcoin chart, and it's just the psyche of the markets and how markets naturally move. And as you get to a higher price point, you can look at the S&P 500. You can look at the price of gold. Like, gold's not going to retrace down to pennies per ounce. Like, it's just,
but the difference between gold too is that there's so much more that goes into gold.
Yeah, you can take you can look at S&P 500. Then what I'm saying is that as people get used to buying something at a certain price, when it pulls back, they know that it will more than likely retrace. And so you see Bitcoin go from $100 to 1,000, and then it's less likely to drop under $100 because people know it's going to get back up to 1,000. When it gets to 8,000, they know it's not likely for it to pull back to $100 anymore. Now people understand the value that they're going to be able to cash in their Bitcoin at 8,000 at some point. And so for that reason, the higher it goes, the less it's going to fall off because people realize the price. And you can do the same when it comes to the S&P 500. Look at the S&P 500 over the course of the last, 20 years.
But the S&P 500, I mean, we're talking two different things.
Well, pick a market. Pick a market that has grown
no, I think
exponentially.
I like the idea. The analogy to gold makes sense.
But gold's the same.
Yeah, but like the markets the liquidity in gold isn't the same.
Okay, well, pick a top 20 market globally, and look to see if it's grown over the last 50 years. Will the entry price point be anywhere close to where it was 40 years ago? No,
that's fair.
Exactly.
Well, that's inflation,
and so.
I mean, we've lost.
You can attribute it to inflation. You can attribute it to people just buying it at a higher price.
How about that?
Okay, the price of a house. My parents bought their first house in Virginia for $50,000. You're not going to be able to buy it for that price anymore.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so and you understand the return on value. So Bitcoin hits 60K. It's not going to go back to $100. It's not.
I mean, it would have to lose
It's
all
not.
functionality.
It's not going to go back to 100 unless it fundamentally breaks. It's not going to go back to $100.
Right.
You can argue whether it'll get to 2,000 or 3,000. Now we can go forward 5 years from now. Bitcoin hits $500,000, or 8 years from now, Bitcoin hits $500,000. It's not going to go back to 16K anymore. At this point, people are comfortable with a new price point. People are willing to get in, and they're looking at value to scoop up an asset. And so right now, the value is, hey, man, I think Bitcoin is probably not going to go under 16K. And if it does go under, it's only going to go so much. It's only going to go so far down. And you can look at history. You can look at, hey, it's generally dropped only to the former all-time high, which was 20K in the following bull market. And so that's always a good gauge. And it probably won't drop too far off of that.
I mean, it dipped substantially below.
It did, yeah. 16K from 20K is substantial.
4K
yeah.
lower.
I think obviously you had the FTX debacle kind of sent markets.
I can see that. I don't know, man. I'm kind of a different view when it comes to Bitcoin. The way I look at Bitcoin is that it's just a technology. It's a new technology. It basically provides digital ownership in the world. So it allows people to own things online in a way that they've never been able to before. It provides digital ownership. Now that, to me, I feel like Bitcoin may have advanced too quickly beyond what it was initially supposed to do. It was supposed to be a peer-to-peer network. You're supposed to be able to mine Bitcoin on a laptop when you started, and it was everyday average people being able to help transition or help facilitate passage of Bitcoin from one account to the other. That got taken over so quickly by technology and by major corporations. I mean, like I doubt when Satoshi wrote the white paper that he foresaw these tech companies building PCs specific ASIC miners, and then the separation between the average person being able to mine their own Bitcoin on their laptop and be able to secure the network, to now your security and all the mining's done on these massive farms that you need hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to actually be able to
my favorite thing is that it's locked in at 21 million coins. It can't inflate. And for that simple reason, because there's a finite supply, that it's going to become more and more scarce, the price is going to go up. You can look at any collectible and pretty much does the same thing as long as there's interest in the market. You can look at whether it's a Mustang, or collectible cars are pretty good examples. Like some of these like Chevy trucks, some of the rare Mustangs, some older Porsches. As there's less and less in circulation, become essentially they're worth more because they're collectible. And I think that with a finite supply, with Bitcoin having 21 million, you know that, hey, that price is only realistically going to go up because it's free of manipulations of inflation and printing, right? I mean, you do issue out a small amount of Bitcoin due to the mining rewards, but I mean, we're over 19 million Bitcoins. There's only 2 more million.
That means that the bulk of Bitcoin's already been mined. It's out there. So if you want Bitcoin, you either have to purchase it from somebody with a different currency, or you have to, if you're not going to mine it, then you have to earn it, right? So you have to earn it from the people that already have it. So I feel like it's progressed too quickly, at least in my eyes, and that's why I don't invest in Bitcoin, because I don't see the returns on it being favorable to me when I could be in a technology like something like ADA, for example, is mine, because I get a good amount of it. I put it in a wallet. I put that wallet and I stake it. It helps secure the network. All those mining rewards that would go to these mega $1 million corporations that have mining rigs are not coming back to me in a small percentage of like 5%.
The thing
it's like a savings account. It's like what banking was originally meant to be.
But you could also manipulate and change any of that. So, as much as...
the miners could get together and decide that they want to extend out Bitcoin. I understand that it's written in there, but I mean, they have the ability to change the code, and if they all decide to get together.
However, the the direction and the change of Bitcoin has pretty much stayed stagnant. And the
That's
direction
fair, and I agree with
change-
that. And it's gotten so decentralized that it's hard to actually come together to make those changes now. I like that. I like the concept of it. I actually enjoy it. I don't have anything against Bitcoin. I just don't see. I see it maybe being the first step. It's like I've been trying to learn as I've been trying to grasp and learn this industry. I've been trying to do a broad view and look at technology in general. And so if you look at certain things like how the internet progressed,
real quick though, Baron, we got to get going, man. We've been talking about Bitcoin for 30 minutes. So let's get into some articles. We also got DZ joining us, and try not to ramble too much on certain subjects. We also going to get DZ's pick or insight on some of these articles as well, and also to take a look at where we're at with the fear and greed index. We are at a 60 on the fear and greed index, so we are officially in the greed territory here. And this has been all week. We've crossed over the 50K mark on the 50 mark for the fear and greed index. And so we're not only seeing the sentiment rise, but we're also seeing volume rise. We're starting to see the altcoins pumping. We have Ethereum over $1,700. Just think about where we were. Ethereum at one
got
point
down to 800.
Yeah, pre the merge, it was under $1,000.
So if you would have got down to the bottom, you'd already doubled your money.
Yeah, so under $1,000 for I think it was like a couple weeks, and it traded around $1,200 for quite some time. And XRP over 41 cents, along with Cardano. Cardano's rallying up 9% on the 24 hours. And then on the 7 days, we got 9% as well. And then going into Avalanche, this has been one of the top performing assets across all of the top 100 projects. Avalanche up 16%, still rallying. It hasn't stopped since its announcement of partnership with partnership with Google? No, Amazon, excuse me. And with a little further down the list, take a look at the biggest gainers. Some of the biggest gainers, Optimism. Ethereum proof of work is back up here as well. I noticed this the other day. Tried to see if there was anything new, but really nobody's building on Ethereum proof of work. So I'm not really sure what's behind the rally, but hey, it is what it is.
All those people that have the rigs, they're just pushing it.
This is, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. This is supposed to be the same because it forked. So think about all the value that is left the system. When this forked, theoretically, the Ethereum proof of work should have been over $1,000. When proof of work launched, it was like $1,200. And so here you can see most of the value has been drained somewhat. Still a top 80 project.
$500 million though, right?
Yeah. So a top 80 project, $500 million of total value locked up. Phantom as well, one of the biggest gainers. And then some of the projects that have pulled back. Everything here is just stable coins. So nothing in the red, not in the top 100 at least. Now, without further ado, we are going to bring in our buddy, someone we join every week for the most part on Around the Blockchain, and someone we've hung out with several times, and someone I call my friend, DZ. What's up, my dude?
What is going on? And guess what? I just learned today. I might be heading back to Vegas in May.
What? What's the occasion, man? You just coming out to hit the clubs or what?
No, Breathe Web3 convention. You can find it. It's a 5 a.m. global thing. So it's just a big Web3 convention. I was talking to them. I had a meeting with them today. We might be doing something with Vumio with them. And so I honestly look for any excuse to go to Vegas that I can. So I got to see the Sin City crew. I mean, gambling's fun. The strip's cool. Whatever. It's the Sin City crew I'm there for, though.
Okay.
Right on.
Awesome. I don't know if you've met Kyler before. He's filling in for David. He helps us a lot with our graphic production and some other behind the scenes stuff. But
okay,
yeah,
I see a "Life is Beautiful" on the hat. And does that mean you don't have schizophrenia and like see weird things and numbers and think the newspaper gives you messages now, do you?
I've not heard anything about it. Life is Beautiful is one of the big concert festivals that are out here every year.
Yeah, it's a pretty big festival here in Vegas.
I was talking about the 15-year-old movie with the mathematician who has schizophrenia. Totally unrelated.
All right.
Which what was that? Beautiful Mind? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, is that what it's called? I thought it was honestly called Life.
With Russell
Beautiful.
Crowe?
No, Life is Beautiful. The one with the
I
Italian
don't even
guy.
know what I'm talking about, y'all. Yeah, I don't know my Russell Crowe. Like I should.
Oh.
I did recently watch that movie. It's a good movie.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
All right.
Hey, speaking of math, though, let's talk about these crypto numbers, man. I just saw you going over the top gainers. I shared one of those yesterday. I feel pretty good about it. I shared IMX. It's up 25% today.
That's immutable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mutable X. That's when you share a coin that you're interested in, then you don't buy it. That's when it pumps 25%.
Okay.
So I didn't buy any IMX.
I bought it at I think $6 back when they had like a Disney partnership, like a year and a half ago. I remember buying Immutable. That was actually after the meetup. One of the guys turned me on to that, so I couldn't figure out how to buy it.
My flex frag. I got the airdrop. I was playing Gods and Chain back in the day.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, some of the biggest. What are you buying us? Ethereum at $1,700 or what, man?
Yeah. I actually market bought. Yeah.
I honestly, are you looking to get in? Are you looking to get into anything right now? I know we are, substantially higher than we were at 16K. What's kind of your sentiment? Are you just strictly sticking to DCA, or do you think that the alts are going to start pumping? Because that's what we're seeing this morning. Or are you kind of just playing as safe because we might be in a bear market bounce and sticking more to the top projects, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of your other favorite layer ones?
No, I mean, my biggest purchase recently was ETH, actually, but it was because I'm replacing ETH that I've been spending on some of these altcoins. I have been deploying some capital into specifically the DeFi sector of crypto right now. I had a huge pump off XTP, and then, kind of ignited a lot of other DeFi projects. I was in Daffy. I picked up some Daffy before the Martini guy video. I didn't know. I kind of had a feeling he was going to talk about it because he talked about it last bull run. And I picked up some. This is you got to share your wins, you got to share your losses. I actually picked up a DeFi play yesterday. 2 hours later, there was a bridge hack, and someone basically was able to just get a lot of the token very cheap because a different coin was exploited, and then it fell like 70%. And so I bought it like 2 hours before it fell 70%. What did I end up doing? I ended up putting up about 20-30% of what I had previously bought and doubled my bag. And so that's sometimes you gotta bet with conviction. So sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. You never know, man. It's crypto, but the DeFi sector has been looking pretty promising to me lately. But hey, it's been explosive. It might be due for a correction. Everything could be dumping tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I think DeFi is definitely the answer to all of the contagion issues that we've had lately, especially when you look back at FTX. Basically, everything that happened, all the negativity. With the exception of maybe the Tornado Cash sanctioning, but even that wasn't that big of a press. That was more internal crypto community. But I mean, you can attribute most of the loss in funds across our ecosystem to individuals and institutions. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think DeFi is the answer. I think it's just a little outside of the reach of the novice crypto investor. And so I think with the easier to use interface, I think Loopring does this really well. And easy to use. You're not gonna you don't have to worry about a million different wallet addresses, and is your MetaMask, is it set up on the Ethereum network or Binance chain or whatever it is? And I think just a little bit of simplicity. DeFi is the answer. Will it pop off next bull run? I think so. I think the likelihood of that is I think that's gonna be the emerging sector, one of them at least. We'll get into a couple articles here and then kind of get your thoughts on some of the trending articles. What do we got, Kyler?
All right, so first one would be Meta CEO Zuckerberg steadfast on metaverse plans despite $13.7 billion setback. It looks like Meta founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg says the company has no plans to change its long-term strategy for the metaverse, despite operating losses from its Reality Labs business peaking in 2022. Meta on February 1st released earnings showing that Reality Labs has lost $13.7 billion in 2022, the largest ever yearly loss recorded for its metaverse building division. None of the signals that I've seen so far suggest that we should shift the Reality Labs strategy long term. We still expect our full year Reality Labs losses to increase in 2023. So it seems like they're expecting more.
So Meta's going all in, man. And at least on Metaverse, and you would think that they might pivot, especially with the big drawdown they had. And obviously, they're having a rebound. Zuckerberg he's steadfast, man. He's not gonna to pivot at all. And I think he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was saying there that he understands that it's not going to be a good look for the company. That Meta's probably going to piss people off. They're probably going to have some losses, but he's looking on it on an 8-year time horizon. You got the Meta's was a Quest 3 headset coming out next year. Hopefully that performs better than the Oculus Pro, the one that's like $1,500. What do you think?
Just real quick, the last little bit said Meta's overall revenue for the fourth quarter was $32.1 billion, beating Wall Street's expectations. So if their last quarter was $32.1 billion and they've lost, 17?
Right.
Or 13.7? And that's all of 2022. And just last quarter alone, they pulled in $32 billion.
What do you think the direction of Meta is going to be, at least in the metaverse space and the crypto space? I know they had that Diem token. They kind of scrapped that, but obviously they're trying to.
They were kind of forced to scrap that, weren't they?
Yeah. The government.
I think I'm pretty bullish. I'm pretty bullish on them long term. I think that Apple teaming up with Mana is just going to ignite a fire under Zuckerberg. He's not known for resting on his laurels. He's known for making these big bets and pivoting, and it seems to be doing pretty well. You saw it with Facebook marketplaces. They went in and tackled a sector that they really knew nothing about, ended up doing really well. They're one of the top advertisers in the industry. They're kind of right there behind Google. So they're doing a phenomenal job on the ad business. And they have, with no one's mentioning, they have that big giant partnership with Ray-Bans. And wear Oculuses, but it's not going to be bulky for long. And you could say the same thing about cell phones. We've all seen the 80s movies, sometimes, starring Rob. Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking that's the guy from Home Alone. But we've seen the movies where they pull out the cell phone, where it's gigantic. It's the big thing that gives them brain cancer. They literally like pulling out a, big antennas, like as long as it is for a TV or a car from the 70s. Of course, that was going to have mainstream adoption. But the second you put, screens on it, then you have your 78-year-old grandmother playing Bejeweled. And so when technology catches up to what they envision is going to be, I think you're going to see the same thing with, you're going to see a couple nerds with Oculuses. You fast forward 20 years, and then grandma's wearing the Ray-Bans. And I think we're going to see the similar thing. And Zuckerberg, he's not going anywhere. If you look into their corporate structure, you're not really going to vote that man out. He has all the control, all the power, despite only having a sliver of the stock.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with Zuckerberg is that, first of all, he looks like an alien.
Yeah, he loves sweet baby rays. I'm blown away when I see the guy talk, personally. I saw the Lex Friedman interview. I saw the Joe Rogan interview. I watched them in their entirety. They're both like 3 hours long. So I think he gives phenomenal answers. I think he's very thoughtful. I think he definitely is very forward thinking. And sure, part of it's he's coached like a robot, but doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, a robot can be pretty successful running something and probably better than a human being. So we're like, yeah, he sucks because he's like a robot. Well, maybe that makes him better, not worse.
Well, they always liken people to looking like and acting like their pets. You ever notice that when someone has a dog and they kind of look like the dog, or cat? I think he's starting to look more and more like an algorithm. So I'm just saying. So you represent.
What metaverse do you think? Well, what do you think the metaverse? Because you're kind of pretty well versed in it. Do you think that we're getting towards Ready Player One, or how do you think it's going to be in the future? What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're pretty far away from haptic feedback suits. And, there's a certain industry that always drives tech. If you kind of know about Blu-ray, if you know about Laserdisc, if you know about the internet, if you know about what's making up the majority of internet volume. So a lot of people are kind of knowing what I'm referring to here. I think we're a long ways away from that, where you have your haptic suit with the special sleeve in the middle, or special rod, or thing in the middle. I think we're pretty far away from that. I think that is going to be a main driver of that industry, of that technology, especially as we get further and further away from normal human beings interacting on a normal human interface, aka the real world, aka chatting up somebody at the produce section at the grocery store, talking to somebody at your local community thing that you're a part of. And so it's going to be more and more of swiping left, swiping right. We both swipe the same direction. Let's put on our haptic feedback suit, and then it looks like Demolition Man or something. So I think we're pretty far away from that. I think what we're going to see more is an AR world versus a VR world, and then that's going to be just the
Like a
augmented
Pokemon
reality
Go type
that's
deal?
on your, like a Pokemon Go, but it's going to be the Ray-Bans, and it's going to be, I look at you,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll have, I could tap some, or even maybe focus on something and blink 2 times, like a double click blink. Maybe I look at your Life is Beautiful hat, and it knows exactly what you're referring to. Maybe it looks at you and it uses face detection software because we've interacted in the past. Oh, this is your buddy. Here's his last Twitter post. His dog died. And then when I walk up to you, I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry about your dog. Really, really tough to hear. I'm sorry you're going through that. I think that's what we're going to see with AR. Or,
So like
also
all the Facebook information, we'll just scroll
yeah,
up. It'll have your
you put
birthday,
on,
so you won't have to remember any of that.
well, that, imagine you put on Yelp mode and you're at a strip mall, and you look and you hover on this thing and it says 4.7 stars. You do your double click, 3.8 stars. 3.2
Okay,
stars. All
so
right, we're going to eat at 4.7.
it would be like it would kind of almost feel like a video game
It's
in
like
real life,
Terminator
then, yeah.
vision.
Exactly.
Terminator
So you would
vision.
look out on the city, and then if you're looking for
But
certain things, they would
here's-
pop up, navigate you
So
towards what you're looking
The
for.
thing is that we already have it. It's just not glued to our face, So you look at people walking through the
Yep.
mall. They're already looking at this
Yep.
restaurant. They're like, hold on a second, nah. Then they go over here. The only difference is that we haven't conceptualized that this could just be something that we wear in our face instead of pulling up our hand.
Yeah,
And
your
so the,
Ray-Bans. Yep.
yeah, so it's not far off, and augmented reality. I mean, with even though the Zuckerberg's the Meta's Quest Pro, that was pretty revolutionary. People aren't really discussing the fact that it is an AR plus VR headset that runs Microsoft products. They have a partnership with Microsoft, so you can run Microsoft Office and Excel right on that thing. And instead of having your, I guess the feedback wasn't that great on it. It wasn't the most efficient, not the ideal way of using it. But you know what? It's the first integration of it, and you can essentially use Microsoft Office right in front of you on your desk without a laptop screen or a monitor of any kind. And so, it's pretty interesting where we're going. I want to shift the debate here. I don't know if you caught up on Bitcoin integrating NFTs and what that is all about. So, just a little
the little Satoshis.
Dude, yeah, I know you got to be plugged into this. So, I'll kind of actually let you expand on it, but first I'll just give you the bullet points here. You have Bitcoin records largest mined block to date. 4 megabyte block containing NFTs causes unease among small block supporters. And on February 1st, the Luxor mining pool mined the largest block ever recorded on the Bitcoin network, approximately 3.96 megabytes. This is obviously something that they're attributing to the NFTs. Cardano is at the forefront on this as well, and their NFTs. Will you tell us a little bit? Because I only know more or less.
I can give a little background here. Those who remember, about a year ago, we had the SegWit upgrade, and the SegWit upgrade allowed you to put messages on Bitcoin block, and so you can sign this little Satoshi number, 17 million, yada yada yada, and say wag me, or how Finney is my daddy. I don't know. You can put all these little things, and then there's an upgrade with Taproot. because there was security vulnerabilities, and they're worried about what was going to be put on the blockchain. They actually created this limit of data, and then someone said, "Hey, it fits in this limit of data. Sure, we could put a whole bunch of text, but we can also put a very low quality JPEG in this little bit of data size that we have." And so you can sequentially put JPEGs on a blockchain, on a Bitcoin block, via each Satoshi, 100 million per Bitcoin. And so it would be put in there sequentially, and it would live on that unit of Bitcoin, I guess, essentially forever, unless I guess the devs come and devs do something. And yeah, I've been looking at a few of the Bitcoin blocks. It's mostly just like Pepe trading cards. I'm seeing a whole lot of Pepes everywhere. Yeah, shout out to the demolition man. We were heading. I refuse to use the seashells, but yeah, there's a lot of Pepes on there, and there's two arguments. You have one side saying, "Hey, Bitcoin is all about freedom, decentralization. We love what's going on. Hey, it's the Wild West. The cowboys out there, they want to have a gunfight over NFTs in the high noon. Let them have it. Let them have their NFTs. It's all a bunch of fun." But then you have the quote unquote purists who they do want to censor, and they do see Bitcoin as, look, this is digital gold. It's a peer-to-peer payment system. It exists for this, and anything contrary to that goes against Satoshi's vision. And they're basically just trying to cherry pick what part of Bitcoin ideals they want, and then just plug it in and say, this is what Satoshi wants, or this isn't what Satoshi wants. And personally, I mean, yeah, I think NFTs could ruin Bitcoin, but then I don't know. I don't know. It's like if you have people who really love Ethereum, or people who really love Cardano, or maybe even people who really love Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Gold, maybe they do try to ruin the Bitcoin network, quote unquote, ruin by clogging the network with these NFTs. So I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. I'm just glad I don't have a Bitcoin node. That's all
I
I'm gonna
can
say.
I can see some DDoS attacks coming on to the Bitcoin network,
Yeah.
and it might actually spark up the conversation on the block size, right? And that the block size wars was what spawned a lot of these Bitcoin forks in 2016, 2017. And could we see that argument coming back to the forefront for the simple fact that Bitcoin becomes more, the throughput just becomes a little absurd, and that people just start minting tons of NFTs, clogging the network? I don't know, or maybe they'll just try to put these NFTs on a Lightning network. And I know this is a layer 2, so it's not really running the security, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of buzz around using the security of the Bitcoin network. How can we do it efficiently? I'm sure there's a layer 2 similar to Lightning Network that could probably accomplish something similar. Because if we were transacting all the Lightning Network payments, we would also see the same thing. So I do think that we'll see some pivots. Will we see the large blockers come back? I don't know, man. I'm kind of interested to see that.
Yeah, I don't want Bitcoin to die, and I am scared. My main fear is, some like Bitcoin Cash maxi who has like $20 million in Bitcoin Cash is like, all right, well, let me sell 10-20% of my bag and spend all of this money directing attacks at Bitcoin, hoping that my Bitcoin Cash gains more than the 10 or 20% that I pulled out. And then, you're at a net profit. And then imagine you get a whole whale group of Bitcoin Cash people saying, all right, let's just make the next 7-10 minute blocks of Bitcoin unusable. Go steady, lads, go. And I don't know what that would do to Bitcoin's price. I don't know. So I'm not the tech guy that knows enough about the intricacies of the Bitcoin network and how the blocks line up and how everything validates with the miners. But from what I've learned, it's going to be pretty interesting as they sort this out.
All right. And now, kind of keeping on the Cardano subject, we have the new Cardano-based stablecoin, Jed. Which are you a fan of the Jed name? I mean, I have a silent D in the front.
Terrible. It should just been like it's made by the Cody team. Like Cody's better name than Jed. Yeah, you have D, the J, then a vowel. Like, what's going on? What are we all like Vikings here? I don't know where that comes from. I see it. I think of like Icelandic language.
Jed. Don't you think it is missing like a dollar, something that relates it to a dollar, right? Because it's supposed to be a stable coin. You have USD, UST, USDD, and so BUSD.
Yeah.
Now it does have
Maybe
two D's in it, but they're on both ends with a J in the middle. So kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it's not quite as clear. And I think when new people come into our space and they get exposure to it, I don't think they're going to realize it's a stable coin until it smacks
Same
them in
thing
the
about
face.
DAI. I feel like a lot of people don't know DAI is a stable coin. It's like, oh, look at
Yeah.
that coin for $1. I'm sure there's some percentage of people the first time they open Coinbase, they see DAI and they just assume it's some coin that just happens to cost $1. They see USDT, USDC. I'm sure their brain makes that connection a little bit sooner. So yeah, I don't know what they run out of. There's 26 letters, right? You couldn't figure out like USD something. Is there nothing left?
Maybe.
USDJ.
I'm curious what that person.
Jed.
I'm curious what that person's looking at on Coinbase with that DAI. He's like, this has been trading sideways forever, man.
Dude, knowing Cardano,
They call that APY though, man. It was that APY.
Right. Just to pull up the article here, we have so with DAI, the new decentralized stablecoin based on smart contract platform Cardano is quickly gathering millions of ADA in its reserves. The data shows that Jed has a 591% ratio with just over 27 million ADA tokens backing it at the time of writing. Jed website also gives insight into the stablecoin's mechanics and how it aims to remain stable with its
collateralization there. I'll say this about that, man. I feel a lot better about something being over collateralized in a bear market than I do a bull market, right? I feel a lot better about 400% reserve at a 20K Bitcoin versus a 55K Bitcoin. Because I feel a lot less likely like, okay, we're going to drop 80%.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 4 to 8 times the backing. But what kind of concerns me is that, if Cardano were to say have a parabolic run up, and you could look at the Terra Luna ecosystem as an example, where it went from pennies and it cracked into the top 5. Everybody's buzzing about it. It's the new coming of Bitcoin. And Satoshi's now using it. Anyways, it was godsend, and we saw what happened to the price. And so if you had market adoption on Cardano, and especially with this stable coin, and you had a giant run up in the value of ADA to a point to where you knew it was going to pull back in the middle of a bull market, and it fell 90%. If you're backing, if your reserves are 4 to 8 times, that's not enough. And that, is this a stable model? That's why, I'm kind of I wish there was some kind of pegging or something that would tie it down outside of, say, the crypto ecosystem. So with traditional stable coins, it's reserved, paper, cash, also with vouchers and sometimes corporate debt, but at least it's outside the ecosystem. So if crypto crashes, at least the values on the other side isn't crashing quite as hard.
Call me crazy. I don't want these stablecoin people to buy anything besides like U.S. Treasury 3-month bonds. Like, I don't know, man. It's like when you start talking about commercial paper, lending it, and then that's, to me, just gives you attack vectors.
Or
you're
maybe
adding risk.
Yeah, or even a blend, a blend of assets. I like this premise. I understand it's kind of an algorithmic stable coin. You can
that comment. I'm sorry. Hey, my family, we bought some DAI and then it spiked. It was only because our local currency plummeted. All right, that is good stuff. Our currency.
Who said that?
I'm sorry that
Rusty
your currency tanked. That's one of those. We live in a bubble because we're in America things.
Yeah. Dang, that's
I've
crazy,
been looking,
man.
I did some research, like who has the historically lowest inflation, aka the strongest currency. It's the Swedish, I think, is it the Donar or something like that, or French.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is the Swedish currency, and I'm waiting for that to have a stable coin. I'm trying to get
a
into
Swiss
Sweden.
bank that's on the verge of going under.
Oh yeah,
that's the bank. Their currency is good though. I mean, that might have a blip in the currency though. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
It's pretty small.
That's what like that's one of the draws of Switzerland, right? It was always like you have your Swiss bank accounts if you're rich. It's like kind of the Cayman Islands
that
type
and they
deal.
didn't shut down.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, you also got to
that's a
figure
different
they're a small country, so that, you know, they don't have to spend so much, right? I mean, you look at the U.S. I mean, how many highways and, you know, schools and battleships we got to have ready, you know, and so if you're a smaller country up in the Alps, it's kind of a different
Yeah,
scenario
people
when it
don't
comes
think
to
about you know, the size of America, and where you look 70% like lives on the coast. There's a huge swath of land, and it kind of reminds me like, well, New York City pays 70% of the taxes, but only gets 30% of the dollars, or I don't know the number, but you always kind of hear that narrative. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you could pave every street in New York City, you know, you're kind of good, but you ever make that drive to upstate New York and back? You know, there's going to be there's long swaths of country land that, hey man, they only have 1,400 people in this county. We got to make this 30-mile highway. Yeah, the math doesn't check out. So I
you
don't
know
I don't get too upset about
I actually
many
have a
paying for the
funny story kind of on that, and it's I had somebody. I was in elementary school, and this guy came in. You know, this expert came in to talk to us about overpopulation and the growth of the population, and how there was gonna be nowhere to live. And I remember he was just talking to me. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "You're gonna be, you're gonna be spending a crazy amount of money for an apartment. Everyone's gonna be like layered on top of each other like Legos." And anyways, I'm sitting there as a little kid, and I'm just like, and I'm from Virginia, man, and it's just like nothing but farmland. You know, anytime you drive outside the city, it's just miles and hours of it. And I'm like, hey, man, what about all this like open land? It's like, you drive across the country, it's 3 days of nothing but open land with little intermittent cities.
Nothing but amber waves behind me, bro. Amber waves of grain as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, he tried to shut me up. He's like, "Kid, you don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like,
85% of Nevada is BLM
we
land.
More people.
Yeah.
I mean, we need more babies. We don't need more people. We specifically need more babies. That is the thing. But Rob, you're doing your part. I appreciate that. I might be trying to join.
Hey,
I'm trying to join your club maybe.
I got 2 kids, bro, and I'm who knows? Maybe I have 3 and 4 out there just running around from my adolescent days. You never know.
Yeah, fun metric for people. I think me and you have even talked about this before, but it's the metric of adult diapers to baby diapers. You don't want a society where there's more adult diapers than baby diapers. It doesn't take much of an imagination to wonder how that is very, very bad for a population on the whole, on a grand scale level.
It's happening a lot around the world right now. Japan's running into that problem currently, I think.
Yeah,
I think Japan's, I think, over a decade at this point.
We're definitely seeing the population shift. I know Africa is supposed to boom here, and might see the industrial and tech sector leave certain parts of the country because of the lack of labor force. And
yeah, but I'm hoping that I hope that they build it themselves rather than let China go in and build it for them, which seems to be a big problem in Africa.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
It's too late.
Yeah, they already got their port system and highway system on lock, and the rail system on lock. It's done. It's already over. We already lost. China already won Africa. That's been in the works. It's too late to reverse it, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah,
get ready.
The railroad
won't be the superpower economically. Get ready.
Yeah, they built all the railroads down in Africa, man. It's all Chinese infrastructure investment.
It's the Belt and Road Initiative. That's
right? Just for those watching, just Google Chinese Africa ocean port lease. The writing's on the wall, man. They have complete gridlock, or the complete control, monopolistic control on the infrastructure of importing and exporting with that continent.
Well, they're doing what America does pretty well. That's
what we did to them.
They're doing what America does pretty well in the fact that
I'm not saying we're better.
Yeah, they're lending, and all of that has to get paid back too. So they're going to the country like, hey, we'll build the railroad, we'll build and so now all of a sudden there's all these bonds and debt.
Pay it back or default your assets. They want their actual goods.
Yeah,
they want
whatever
whatever their commodities are.
You didn't pay for this highway 17 years ago. Oh, you lost your mineral rights.
Exactly. Man, looks like that cobalt mine is ours now.
They're literally doing. They were talking about taking over an entire port city or at least the whole port. Basically, like, hey, we built the port for you, and that's like all of the major GDP for that country was through that one port. Now, I don't have the details here in front of me, but one last article we'll cover before we let you go. You know, you got some shows to take care of since Ben's been out of town. How's his book tour going, by the way?
Yeah, man, doing that double duty. Seems to be doing great. He was just in Minneapolis, then Chicago, Austin. I'm not sure where he's heading at today, but the book sales are doing great, and already talks of a kids version.
Oh, okay. So it'll be like a pop-up book with
because of you, Rob. He thought about 2 kids and them growing up without being educated about Bitcoin in a concise, factual manner, and he just couldn't sleep at night. He said, "I got to start working on the kids version."
Yeah, man. I need to teach my kids about Bitcoin. You know, I actually sent my daughter some Tron the other day. You know, because she lives abroad with my ex-wife, and I was like, "Hey, what's the cheapest way of sending this?" And you know, Tron was it, man. It was a
Shout out to Justin's son. I always say he's like the best trader. I'm still waiting for him. Why didn't he buy ETH at 800? It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Or 950.
So we do have Coinbase real quick. Coinbase NFT pauses. Coinbase NFT pauses creator drops and insists marketplace is not shutting down. So Coinbase NFT announced on Wednesday that it is pausing future NFT drops, but specified that it's not shutting down completely. We're pausing creator drops on the NFT marketplace to focus on other features and tools that creators have asked for. And so it sounds like they're building a better product, but why shut down completely? That's kind of raises some eyebrows there.
Well,
we believe ultimately
I'll tell you why, peeking under the hood, there's a downside reputational risk when it comes to rug pulls, and you just want to avoid that. So it's just like, what are they really making on a monetary basis when it comes to these creator drops? It is not worth the headache. It's not worth the potential legal fees. It's not worth the potential liabilities of, I don't know why I was going to jump, just random influencer rugging their fans. And so, it's just best to avoid that. I mean, we've seen what happened. Coinbase NFT doesn't want to be on a CoffeeZilla video. And so the best way to do that is just eliminate this program because it doesn't make them that much money anyways.
Okay. Yeah, is anybody using Coinbase marketplace?
No, 0. No one uses it. It's dead. It's lame. I mean, I look at the little graphics where it has like all the marketplaces with all the volume. I never see them make any kind of real significant splash.
Fair enough. Speaking of NFTs, how's JPEG Junkies going?
JPEG Junkies going well. We just had a meeting today. I did share this. We had a meeting with the devs. We had a rarity issue. We figured out. So we're doing 6,000 unique catchphrases for all 6,000 junkies. It's taken us a while because we're doing this after we launched because we have a finite amount of time. And so we're going through it right now. But we learned today if it's past, I think it was 64 characters. It screwed up. It's a pool.pm issue. When you have a description, they have a limit, and we have to submit a ticket with them to give us like special circumstances where it wouldn't. And so basically we learned from talking to the devs, like, look, that is a headache. You might not get it before the contract expires. So we're going to rewrite all the sayings that are too long. So just be patient. Basically it screwed up our rarity. We released 1,000, and when it had 2 line items for the catchphrase, it made it like it's super rare. Like it had 2 one-of-one traits. Totally screwed up our rarity. But guys, junkie holders, we're working on it. Just please be patient.
Give us an example catchphrase. Give us an example catchphrase.
So, one might be holding a bong. I don't know why we chose those. They're junkies, Okay, so he's holding a belt. The belt might, the catchphrase might say, "This belt isn't for my pants," if you know what I'm saying, because he's shooting heroin. And so that's kind of our that's our vibe there.
That took a turn.
One, he might be belching with like a green noxious fume coming out. And he's like, maybe that bong rip was too big. Just junky, just jokey kind of like degen.
Are the
culture type stuff.
Did you try to tailor the phrases to the JPEGs?
Yes, everything is related to the actual picture. So like if it's saying something about a bong because they hold a bong, dude, It's mind-numbing work, dude. No, I mean, it's easy to just like maybe crank out 100, then you take a break and you show up the next day, you know, because you end up you need those creative juices to regenerate there.
Wow. What if you
Yeah,
put
it's long and laborious. So, you know, I'm just urging caution. And man, you know, we did do an airdrop a few months ago. We learned from our legal team that it's not great to say, "Hey, we're going to give you money in a predetermined date in the future." It's skirting with what could or could not be a security, and so we were recommended to no longer do that. We're not just like some idiot in his mom's basement. We have to be a little bit more careful than the average NFT project, and so I can't say we're going to do an airdrop anymore, folks. But dot dot dot. I would march. I would march over to jpeg.store, maybe buy one if you wanted an airdrop. That'd be cool, right? We did do Charlie token. It's a C3 token on Cardano. It's the Oracle. It's like a chain link of Cardano. So if you want to see what our last airdrop was, it might be that again if we were to do it. If capital I, capital F.
All right, and then I know David has picked up a couple of, or actually a handful of your JPEG junkies. So you can see some of them here. Oh, I know this guy, the founder here, DZ, and Justin, and Taco.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking, you know, why no roadmap. We want a roadmap. We want a roadmap. It's just another securities issue. We just got to be real careful of saying, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z.
Cool, man.
Because people might look at that as a collective effort of people that might, you know, increase the price of a collective enterprise.
Well, I'm glad to see that project is doing well. I know it's climbing up the Cardano leaderboards there as far as the price and just the community overall reception of it. So definitely badass. Well, I know you got to go do some other shows, so we'll kind of wrap it up. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Anything going on in
yeah, check
your own
out
personal?
Boomio.io. You can sign up for the beta. It's our upcoming OpenSea and Coinbase NFT competitor. We're going to be we have Cardano, Polygon, and Ethereum. We might be releasing a beta where you can maybe test a particular chain. So if you want to get in on the beta, the reason you would want to get in on the beta is maybe there'll be some cheap things on some floors. You know, maybe we'll populate some floors with things at a discount. I'm not saying for sure, but let's just say we did do that and you did have some NFTs on your radar and you could just immediately get a 10% discount. Heck, maybe you just want to instantly relist on a competing website or our website just to make a little profit. That'd be a cool thing that being a part of the beta might, you know, the beta participants might get to enjoy. Boomio.io, sign up, you'll get an email. And we're talking now. This just, you know, this coming out of left field, might not do this. If we were to do a party, an NFT NYC, might be emailed invitations, maybe. I don't know. So Vumio.io, go sign up.
What about that Las Vegas party when you come hang out with us, bro?
May, the Breathe convention. Yeah, I was talking to the team. So I mean, I'm probably coming out in May, man. So look forward
the weather
to
should be nice, man.
Weather should be pretty good. I don't mind hot weather. So I'll go to Vegas in June and July. I don't care. August,
May is
feel the same to me. Yeah, it's cold to me in the winter. So like I'm a big puss when it comes to cold weather. I'm a machine when it comes to heat. I don't even you'll never see me complain about it being too hot. But yeah, the Breathe thing, that might be a pretty cool convention. You know, if we end up having some sort of Vumio presence there, you know, I can get you guys in touch with the team and hey, maybe there's a little MC action in for the Sin City crew. Maybe a live feed. They might think that's kind of cool. Maybe hook you up with like a little floor space. You know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
And then for the viewers, how do you spell Vumio so they can check it out?
Yeah, Vumio, VOOMIO. Vumio.io. So check it out, Vumio.io, and sign up for it.
Go check it out. All right. Well, thanks so much for visiting us, man. Blessing us with your knowledge. It's always fun. I think we'll be on next week on Around the Blockchain, hang out with you again. And you know, I'm glad you came on and checked out our production. So,
hey, dude, I love it. Everybody watching, hit that like button. Hit that like button right now. Every like makes Bitcoin go up 1 penny. So, if you like Bitcoin going up, hit that like button. All right. I gotta run.
All right, brother. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us.
It was great. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Hey.
Yo.
Yeah, where is our likes at, man? Oh, actually not bad.
Come on, bring the likes.
So hit the likes. We also had Jimmy also gifted out another 10 memberships to the community. It's always Christmas season when Jimmy's in the chat. We also have, if you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. I see we got a few familiar faces becoming regulars. Kev83. We also have Sun God back here again. So glad to see that we're starting to build a new base of viewers here. We have Fifth Survivor, Dan T, and also Rico. And then Crypto Brad. No, they've been there before. And if you're new here, say hello. And stick to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. All right.
You want to switch? I got the billionaire Charlie Munger.
Yeah, what we got? Oh, Charlie Munger's been chit-chatting again. And also we had John Blockchain Billionaires Club, Blue Punk Rocker, as well as Pokemon. Also, hola to you. Charlie Munger, man, are you gonna pull that up?
You can put here.
Yeah. I don't know
Rocco,
if you
can
had
put on
your
laptop?
I don't think your laptop's working anymore, or not yet. So, you know what? Here, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up and I'll just kind of talk about it. So
I was reading this and it's like, dude, it's upsetting.
Yeah, he is something else. Here, I'll kind of run this. I'll go run this through since I got my laptop pulled up here. So you have billionaire Charlie Munger says America should ban crypto, and here's why.
Just look at that picture first off. Look at this
99 years old. He's really not up to beat with the emerging technology, but whatever. He's up to beat in criticizing it. So, if you don't know nothing about it, just leave it alone, right? He says the U.S. should follow. This is crazy, man. Like, at what point
there's
is
so
this?
much? Like,
the
so much
U.S. should follow China's footsteps and implement a ban on cryptocurrencies.
Because that worked well for them.
Now, Mr. Munger said crypto isn't a currency. It's likened to a casino where nearly 100% of the edge is for the house. So we've heard the analogy that cryptos are likened to casinos. This is not the first time. I do think this is the first time I've heard a prominent figure basically saying we should follow the footsteps of China.
So China does a great job. They really hold our values, and we feel like they're kind of what we aim to be like.
So I'm not really sure. When you fall back to saying we should liken ourselves to China as far as their regulatory and their restrictions and added that the only reason crypto craze has been the only reason that the crypto craze has been allowed to go on in the U.S. is because of the gap in regulation. Now, as we mentioned, he is 99 years old.
Man.
So I don't know. I think this right now. We're seeing this happen, quite often, and we're seeing that these traditional investors, these people that have exposure to traditional finance for years and years and years, don't want crypto to come in and integrate, right?
Rocco, are you gonna pull that up?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up, dude. This is awesome. He's 99 years old, so just within his lifetime, these are some of the things that he's seen, right?
Oh. Like a Zeppelin, yeah. The emergence of the teddy bear, the first NFT. We also have
99. What does that put him at? Like he was born in
1901. 1901. No, okay, 1920. Okay.
Yeah, 1920s. Okay.
So he was born when the traffic signal was born.
Radar.
So radar. He was like
the world's.
He was all right. He was a teenager when they came out with the ballpoint pen.
A fortune cookie. Look at that, huh?
Dude. Yeah, like Slinky. And then this guy's like, "No, this is a bad idea. You guys shouldn't do this." Like, yo, bro.
Can you
look at this? Did you see those glasses?
When he was born, they didn't even have ballpoint pens. All
Nuts,
the way until
right?
he was 18. That's kind of crazy.
It's a casino that we're not the house, so that's why he doesn't want you to do it. It's because they don't control it. And he doesn't control it. Everything that he's built and all the wealth that he's generated for his kin, he wants to keep it with his people. He doesn't want anything to break the structure of the current system because Why would he? He wants you to do what they've always done. And he wants you to believe in the institutions. And he wants you to make sure that his kids can have their mansions and their kids' kids can have their mansions. And he can pass down all these gold and all these stocks that he's had for the last 40, 50 years. Get out of here, bro. It's time for you to go. This is a digital revolution. We're here. This is our terms. Welcome.
He's revolt. He's
Wow.
He's good. He's getting back to.
Dude, I get so upset because I'm like, you know what? No. All this, dude, everything that's structurally there, everything that has been doesn't have to be. We can change things at any point in time if we just collectively decide that we don't want to let the way that the establishment's been. We just choose. It doesn't have to be a violent revolution. It could be a quiet revolution. The power that they have is not set in stone. What are they going to do? They can't come after all of us. We're the ants in a bug's life, okay? We're the little ones, but when we come together, grasshoppers don't stand a chance, man. So like people start to think like that.
What is funny is the television was invented in 1923. So 5 years later, he's watching TV and he probably say, no, I don't want to watch TV. I don't like this technology. Neither is 99. Everything is technology.
So here's the thing. It's that
there's no way he can keep up.
Their traditional finance, crypto doesn't play by the same rules. It's not manipulated and controlled. And for that fact, it scares them. And so they look at a country that has very strong oppression and control and regulation in China, and they say, hey, they're doing it pretty well there. They've pretty much abolished crypto. And the reason they were even able to do that is because
they're welding people inside their homes.
But here's the thing. They're not able to do it because they don't allow the internet.
Yeah, they've lost. This is the problem.
Be free.
They've already lost. They just don't know it yet. Yeah. They're trying to regulate. Oh, this is a gap in regulation. You have no idea what you're trying to regulate. You don't understand what's going on here, and it's too late.
But here's the
thing. It's already out there. It's a virus. That's an open source virus.
Crypto is banned in China because they can control the internet and they can control what websites you go to. And essentially, crypto.
They're trying to do that here too. Yeah. They're coming. They're gonna try.
They're not gonna regulate.
They're gonna try.
They're not gonna regulate where you can go.
Well, people need to start acknowledging when these things come into place. I mean, like if anything, for me, dude, when the certain virus that we had and the restrictions that people started imposing, like you need to feel that oppression and understand when people are trying to take away your rights, and they're trying to take away your digital rights, and you got to push back. And I think it's too late for them. They don't know yet. We, the people of the world, can decide what we want to create now. It's no longer the governments that get to tell us what to do. We get to come together. We get to do what we want. We get to see the world how we want to build it, and we go build it. So, I mean, like, man, if you don't, look at this. Like, dude, look at what we were able to accomplish out of this studio. Like, I know it's not an insane reach yet, but at some point, we'll be able to talk to people around the world. I mean, we got people from all over the world in the chat. So we're all here for a collective idea that we don't want what has been before. We want to come together, create something new. Why is crypto? Is it just because it's worth value? What brings it value? What is this new world that's like our digital world starting to open up in a way that we're seeing it and it happen in real time? I mean, like our generation, us, the guys in this room, I mean, like we grew up pre-phone, pre-internet, and we've grown with technology, and it's only going to exponentially get bigger and better and faster. And so, man, why allow these people, who gives Charlie Munger the right to come out here and tell you that that's just a casino? You have no idea what we're doing, bro. You don't have any idea what's going on. He doesn't know what an NFT is. He doesn't want ownership. He wants to have the ownership. Everything that's been established is for him to have established. I worked hard for it. This is mine. Well, no. Like, we the people get to choose, and we don't want to live under your rule anymore. Man, it's time for you to go. It's time for us. It's time for us to take over. We got it from here, okay?
You know who else it's time to go is Sensei Crypto. So we're going to go as well. So, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. We have no finger tornado because the man is not here.
So what we got?
So we have...
finger licking good.
Yeah, there we go. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Woo!
Lots of love. And come back tomorrow, same time, and 10:30 a.m. Vegas time.
I'll be funnier. I'll be happier. I don't know why I was so serious today.
Dude.
I didn't mean to bring everything down, bro. Tomorrow I'll be goofy. We'll have a good time tomorrow.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Check out inandoutcrypto.com, also known as the Sin City Crypto merch store. There's also other crypto merch on there as well. Till next time. Peace.